Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Probe Dental podcast. We're joined today by Fiona, Sandom, and Michaela O'Neill. Fiona is chair of the British Association of Dental Therapists, the BADT, and also a past president. At the same time that she was president of the BADT, Michaela O'Neill was president of the British Society of Dental Hygiene and Therapy, the BSDHT. Together, they worked on the exemption project and really kind of led it. So we're here to talk about that today. Michaela, Fiona, how are you both doing?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, great. Thanks, James.
Excellent. So we're here today to talk about the exemption project. So obviously, the recent news, the Department of Health and Social Care, and obviously Andrea Lebson is kind of at the, head of that as the MP in charge of dentistry. They announced plans to streamline processes with kind of dental and pharmacy settings. On the dental side, it was to improve the patient experience by kind of granting new powers, as they've said, to dental hygienists and dental therapists. Obviously, it's kind of going down the direct access route. You're going to obviously they're going to look to give dental hygienists and dental therapists kind of the power to supply and administer medicines, including pain relief and fluoride, without sign off from a dentist. So, could you, I guess, first of all, give us a bit of background about how this all began?
Yeah, well, obviously when direct access was first allowed, it threw up a lot of the barriers then that we couldn't actually perform direct access effectively with, and some of them we did address at the time, namely the radiography issue, but the ability to be able to use the medicines that we've been trained and qualified in was hampered greatly. And so we did try to, both of us separately as presidents had been working with different people to see if what we needed to do. We didn't really have an awful lot of traction at that stage. And then Fiona and I got together and had a discussion on it and decided that it was probably for the best of the profession that we worked together to do this. And funny enough, then it started to become an awful lot easier.
Yeah, and then I think back in January 2014, we had our first meeting with the Chief Professions Officer looking at changing the medical mechanisms. And from then on, we worked as a team to make a case of need, to navigate all the steps that needed to be navigated to get to the stage where it finally went in front of Parliament. So there was quite a lot of administration to do. There was navigating some of the rules and regulations, making sure that correct processes were in place. And we went to the Commission of Human Medicines back in August 2020. And once that was passed with the commission, we had to have another consultation because the process had taken so long. And that was finally done last year in October. And so then it's been sitting with the Department of Health and Social Care until we've had this announcement at the end of March. So hopefully we will have news on what the education and training is going to be in the very near future and a date for implementation.
Is there a kind of any idea of like kind of timescales for that at the moment, or is it kind of just a kind of wait and see?
We're not aware of any timescales as yet, but we do have a meeting next Monday, so we might have some more information then. But currently, we've got no idea.
But we're waiting for this to actually be made into legislation to be adopted and written up. So once that's done, then we'll be able to use that legislation.
Is that still quite a lengthy process? I know obviously you hear all the time about kind of parliamentary processes, or is this kind of like the final kind of hurdle?
This has been 10 years so far in the making, James. So 10 years that we've been working at it to get it this far. So I really think that it shouldn't be that much longer. Although we're very, very hopeful that this is going to happen very soon. There certainly is a huge weight of resources and people being utilised to try to get this over that last little hurdle. But the biggest bit was actually having it accepted by Parliament that we could have it changed. So I think this bit, in my impression actually, is that it shouldn't take that much longer. Fingers crossed.
So considering this is...
We can never give a definitive. For so many years, we thought we were just about to have this exemptions landed on us, but it just never happened. There was always another hurdle, another barrier, a change of government, a change of prime minister, whatever the case may be. But that all impacts upon any kind of legislation like this, unless it's in, it's in the patient's best interests, as we have tried to put it. Unless that's a priority with the government, it doesn't get seen.
I think the only real stumbling block now may be if we call a general election is called in the very, very near future, because everything then will go quiet and we won't be able to move anything forward. So hopefully before an election would be nice, I think, don't you? Because we did.
And as we said, there's a lot of people working together now to try to get this over that last little bit. So I'm hoping, because everyone is adamant that we should be able to use this, that it shouldn't be too long. That's where I would like to leave it with that.
I think the drive is there, and of course it's important to remember that exemptions isn't just for England, it's for all 4 nations. So that will help with, patients being able to access care by the right person in the right time frame, without any of the barriers in place. So, it's positive steps forwards for the profession.
Absolutely. I mean, given you've both spent a decade of your lives kind of really focused on this and working on it, how did it feel when the announcement came out at the end of March? And did the announcement come as a surprise? Did you know it was coming?
We've been doing some work in the background with the Department of Health and Social Care, so we were aware things were moving, but we didn't know until just shortly before the announcement that it was finally going over the line, as it were. So I think we've got to be surprised, because it's one of those things you just thought in the end it was never going to happen. So
yeah.
I think
we've been here so many times before that, and have been disappointed. That we were surprised that they've actually said, right, that's it, we've got it. So now we just wait for it to become law.
And to be fair, we were pretty chuffed as well, weren't we, Michaela?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean, as we said, the amount of work that we've put into this, it's highlighted exactly the benefit of our profession being able to help patients like this, especially on the way a practice works. It streamlines the whole process. It makes it easier for everyone to do their job well, in a really time effective way as well. It just, I think will be a huge benefit all over.
It was quite interesting in some of the background work that we had to do, that actually this will reduce the administrative burden for dentists considerably. And also it actually increases patient safety, because we won't be disturbing practitioners to get the necessary paperwork we need in order to carry out our jobs. So, it has many a benefit for the profession as well as for patients as well.
The impact assessment that was carried out really was quite eye-opening.
Well, I was going to ask, how have you...
Sorry, James.
Sorry, I interrupted you as well. I was just wondering, how have you found the kind of reaction within the kind of the dental sector?
So it's been quite interesting. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding out there, and in particular the difference between prescribing rights and the use of exemptions. So a lot of the profession thought it was something we could do immediately. There's also been a few questions around the education and training and a little bit of resilience to that. But that's mainly because we need, it's not education and training in terms of pharmacology, it's about using the mechanism safely. So a little bit of confusion, but like with anything new, there's always going to be, questions asked.
I have to say the immediate reaction was one of real positivity, and a bit of celebration as well, with quite a few people that they'll be allowed to do this. But as Fiona said, within the dental profession as a whole, I think there has to be clarity around the fact that this is actually a different kind of mechanism within the non-medical prescribing framework. And we have to be clear, it's exemptions and not prescribing. We don't have prescribing rights. We cannot write a prescription. And even if we could get prescribing rights to write a prescription, we cannot write that prescription and then fill it immediately. It will have to, like a dentist or a doctor can, we actually would have to get the patient to take that prescription to the pharmacy, get it filled, and come back again at a different time, and then use it. So it would never have worked for us in that way. So again, at the very beginning, we had to go through quite a minefield to see what mechanism would be best suited for our profession. Given that we work in practice with NHS patients, we were very lucky to have had the benefit of a lot of other professions, healthcare professionals that have gone through this process, to give their advice on what would be the best way forward for us. So they're very good.
Yeah, because ultimately we don't send patients home with the medicine. We supply and deliver it and administer it at the site, and that's the key difference to us as dental professionals compared to some of the allied health professionals. So it was just getting that understanding across, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But we're always a little bit different in dental.
Absolutely. Well, the mouth was taken out of the body, as I've been told recently, about 100 years ago, and hasn't gone back. Oh, brilliant. Well, I'm glad to hear it was mostly, it's mostly been positive. And obviously, I think, some of the confusion, even I've had several conversations about this, but, kind of hearing what you just had to say about kind of that confusion around it, it's maybe cleared some things up for myself as well. So I hope anyone kind of watching, listening, kind of takes that from it.
Yeah, we were always kind of quietly confident that we had the backing of the profession, because the first public consultation we had a really good response to, and the second one was equally as good a response. So we were quite confident that the profession was behind us and that there wasn't a massive ask, really, because we only wanted to change a mechanism. We didn't want to do anything new that hasn't been done, that we've not been doing day in, day out anyway. So, yeah.
Perfect. I just kind of wondering, from here, obviously, hopefully it all goes through. It's all smoothly. We get it in before a general election, which I think was the latest. It's got to be called in January, isn't it? I believe. So we've got 9 months. Have you got any, I guess, like future plans, or is it just a case of kind of you've done your 10 years of hard work, and you're going to kind of rest and enjoy it?
Oh dear. Oh, James, if only you knew, huh? The hours that we've put into this. The Mother's Day that I didn't even get out of my dressing gown and was working on it from 5 o'clock in the morning right through. We have given and sacrificed a lot. And I think it's fair to say that, we've done this because we're passionate about the fact that we believe our profession is more than capable of doing this without the need of a prescription. And we're really passionate about pushing our profession forward. But, maybe now it's time for new blood. Younger people that still have less grey hair than us and that would like to have some more grey hair could actually do this project. There are certain things that, yes, I would love to recommend get moved on. I would love for us to be able to add into the exemptions profile some kind of exemption for the use of midazolam, buccal midazolam in particular, so that our profession can actually have their own practices. We can obviously set up our own business in 2006, wasn't it? But the one of the barriers to that and to direct access is holding your emergency drugs. And as midazolam is a controlled drug substance, we have to have an exemption to use that. And I would love to see somebody take that on to add this to the list. Now that we have the list there, it would be great to be able to add that in. And I don't know, Fiona, what else do you think you would like to have happen?
So I'd like to see parity in the NHS for hygienists and therapists opening courses of treatment with our dentist colleagues. I think that is something that, if we look back to when we first were able to see patients directly, a lot has changed. We are able to open and close courses of treatment. We now have personal identifiers to do that, so we can track what the amount of contribution we're giving to the NHS. And I think exemptions is the final thing to get it moving on. But I also think that, we are professionals in our own right, and we should be recognised and treated with parity to our dental colleagues. So that would be, if I have any energy, once this is done, that may be something I'd try and persuade our organisations to sort of look at.
If somebody else,
yeah, I have to agree that
sorry, no, sorry, Michaela.
Go ahead, you're all right. No, I was just going to say that I have to agree with that wholeheartedly. That that we get treated with the autonomy that we deserve to use. It would be wonderful to have that parity with the rest of our colleagues. Yeah, similar to nurse practitioners and in the medical staff. I think they've got quite a nice pattern of working and respect for each other, and I would love that to be the same for ourselves.
Excellent. No, I hope
Sorry,
so.
You're going to ask me something.
No, so you talk about, obviously, perhaps it's somebody else's turn to take over. I mean, it sounds like you've been pushing this boulder up a hill for a long time, and perhaps somebody else should tag in. If anybody listening or watching was kind of interested in getting involved, how's the best way for them to do so? Would it be by joining one of the organisations, one of the associations?
Absolutely. I do think that there's a real lack of knowledge of what the professional bodies actually do for the profession. And if you're passionate about these things, it's much easier to do it with a joined voice than it is to do it if you're just standing there shouting on your own. And if you've got strong opinions and beliefs, then do share those with your professional body and get involved. Do something about it. There's no point in crying about it or shouting about it if you're not prepared to put your neck on the line and actually do something about it yourself. That's how I feel about it anyway.
I think back each organisation, because a lot of the work we do changes the lives of the whole profession, so not just our members. And if you do have something and you do have the motivation and drive to join and become part of council, and help take it forward. I mean, I don't know if we hadn't got together as the two organisations on this project jointly, I don't know if we would have had enough strength to go forward. I think for me personally, I think if I hadn't been doing this with Michaela, it would have been soul destroying, disheartening, a whole load of other things. So having somebody by your side and helping you do it makes it so much better, so much easier. And so if you're doing it within your organisation, you've got people together doing that with you. And I just have to say that whilst this whole project has been mammoth and taken forever, I just wouldn't have. I don't think I would have been able to do it if we hadn't joined forces with BSDHT, and in particular, Michaela wasn't working with us, because I think we helped each other out, kind of between the highs and the lows and things like that. So yeah, we were much stronger as a team.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll second that. Not only I do think that our different professional bodies have come up much closer together since we worked on this, and rightly so, because we're supporting the same people. So and I think that I don't know if I could have done it on my own either. Fiona has strengths that I don't, and I have strengths that Fiona doesn't. So the two of us actually work quite well. I'm definitely more of a practicing hygienist. I've got depth of experience in perio and all manner of dental hygiene. And although Fiona has also got her hygiene qualification, she definitely focuses more on therapy. So we bounced off each other really well. She's really strong in education. I was really strong in policy, so we did a lot. There's a lot of give and take. I have to say the working relationship was great, and we got a great friendship out of it. So, win-win.
Oh, fantastic. No, this is honestly absolutely great to hear. Obviously, I appreciate you're both kind of on lunch as well at the moment, lunch break, joining us to record this. So both very busy still just with your day jobs, let alone all the extra that you've been doing. But no, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.
Okay, thank you very much, James.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.